Hey everyone, it's Q&A Tuesday with Joe, a very candid video. I wanted to talk today about how I live my everyday life. I've always actually lived this way, and I actually got a question from Anita on Twitter about it, and I thought I would cover it. She asked, what is your everyday routine? How do you handle work or even personal life? Anita, I'm not a fan of schedules. My closest friends actually know this about me. I use my intuition quite a lot in attending the important tasks. So of course, if we're talking about meetings and appointments and deadlines, of course they need to be scheduled. Of course you need to be aware of them, and you need to understand how much time you have left to address them. However, the rest, I guess, of life, I've never scheduled it. I ran away from a rigid system. I grew up in a communist Romania. And so you can kind of imagine the type of discipline that was ingrained since childhood. It sort of created this despise of wanting to have schedules. As well, corporate world in Toronto, Canada, while I appreciate the structure it offered me and the discipline of getting things done, I really, really despised schedules. So how do I handle work? I'm actually quite self-aware of the type of personality I have. Like I said, I never liked working the 9-to-5 job. I wanted to build a business, a cash flow business, or a passion that allows me to brand myself, that allows me the freedom to work whenever my creative juices are working. I work very hard, but I work in blocks depending on what needs to be addressed of the 5 areas of importance in my life. And so what are these areas? So for me, my son obviously is my number one. Of course, he does have different classes, swim classes and whatnot. Then, of course, they're scheduled. So I'm not running away from those. I definitely attend those with my son. But I do allow him to explore his own reality. And I'm there to support him and guide him if he needs any guidance, of course. So my son is number one. Number 2 is exercise and nutrition. I've been fairly active all my life. And so I've taken that approach of not scheduling things on my exercise as well. I found that if I had a rigid schedule, for example, if I wanted to work out for 3 months and I knew what I had to do every single day, if I wanted to do weights or cardio or abs, and they're all scheduled throughout the week and month, I usually pretty much didn't do that and stopped and sabotaged that exercise. And why is that? It's my personality. I don't like that. So I allow my intuition to dictate what I want to do that day. Today, for example, I did a 1.5 hours of HIIT and abs workout, whereas the day before, I just did a light yin yoga, and so on. I just allow my intuition to tell me what my body needs to work on today. Exercise is so important. I can't avoid it. And same with nutrition. I listen to my body in terms of when I'm hungry and what I need to eat. I'm very good with nutrition, so I don't tend to eat crap. But I usually tend crap if it's an emotional eating when I try to control things. So number 3 is very important to me, just like the other 2. It's a spiritual and creative outlet. I'm a big believer in connecting with Mother Earth. One of the reasons why I moved to Mexico is being closer to nature. I'm very passionate about learning about astrophysics and the universe, about plant medicine, ceremonies, how it can impact, our psyche, the psychedelics experience. Very passionate about that. I love to learn that a lot. I don't necessarily think I'll ever monetize that. This is just a hobby that I work very hard in allowing myself the time to study it and learn it. So it's definitely very important to spend that time for myself. Number 4 is traveling. I love to travel. I think I've traveled since, for a long time. And so for me, I've been from India to South America to Europe, Central America. I love to learn about people and culture and food. And so it's important that I allocate time for that as well. Number 5 is a little odd. It's my extreme introvert and extrovert needs. I love to go out. I love to party. I love music. I love to dance. I love to be in the center of attention. I love to talk. I love to host meetups like the one that we did 2 weeks ago for the eBay dropshipping. However, there's this side about me that embraces solitude like nothing. I love to spend time by myself. And when I mean myself, I mean myself. Sometimes I don't even leave the house for days. And that may sound like I'm depressed, but I'm not. I get to write a lot. I get to be very creative and come up with different ideas, different ways of approaching my business or even my personal life. It's very important that I have this alone time. And I'm very fortunate that I have a very supportive husband that understands that about myself. Because it's not easy when someone may want to spend that time by themselves. You know, it could be offensive or it could be insulting in a way, but that's just my nature. I just embrace that alone time very much. That's very important to me. So these are the 5 blocks that I use to guide my life through. And so I work sometimes very extreme long hours, sometimes 14, 18 hours a day with my eBay business or even coaching. I work very, very hard. But sometimes not so much. Of course, I attend to the most important things like placing the orders and making sure my customers are happy, and of course my employees are happy. But there's other areas like these blocks that need more attention. Like maybe I exercise more. Sometimes I exercise for 2 hours a day. And of course I don't do that every day, but for some days I just feel like I need that. And of course, traveling. I will be traveling with my son next month to Romania to visit my family. Same idea. That's a block that needs to be prioritized. So what's really important to get out of this video is you need to be self-aware as the type of personality that you are. Maybe you like schedules. Be self-aware of that. And understand there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe you do need to have notifications coming on your phone and reminding you because you're a very forgetful person. That's okay. Now we have technology that's definitely helping us to get past that. So maybe you need to do that. Maybe, for example, if you want to start an exercise routine and you find it very hard simply because you don't have a structure. You don't work so well with just winging it, and maybe because it wasn't really part of your routine. That's okay, you know. Get a program that's very specific as to what you need to do every day and follow it, and it's going to work for you, right? But for those more, I guess, creative and flexible people like us, don't beat yourself up and don't feel guilty that you don't fall within that norm, that schedule, you know? And I found that I was trying to implement this schedule, these routines and you know, times that I needed to do my work, and I was just so frustrated because it didn't work with me. And it tend to really stress me out. So maybe that's something, when the creative people, that's something that you need to embrace about yourself. Maybe these schedules and these notifications, they stress you out more and they really take away from the type of person that you are. Maybe you need to set up blocks like I did. See what's important in your life and work on those. You know, move the blocks along the way, along your life, along your journey, and see how you can sort of assess those for yourself. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just the answer for you. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy selling!